Good morning, students. I hope you are good. So, here I am with my sixth lecture, and we have completed three lectures of chapter number 2, that is business activities, and this is the last lecture of chapter number 2. Hope you have got all the topics which I have taught to you. Just in the previous lecture, I have discussed the definition of trade, its types, and also some differences which were important. So in this video, we will be covering the remaining topics of chapter number 2, business activities. So let's proceed to the topic number 1, that is meaning of aids to trade. See students, I have already told you that commerce is of two types. First was trade, which we have already discussed in the previous video, and second is aids to trade, which we will discuss just now. So let us discuss the definition of aids to trade. It refers to those activities which facilitates buying and selling of goods and services. So basically aids to trade refers to those activities which help in the process of buying and selling of goods. Just in the for giving you hint, I have mentioned in the brackets also that which provides help in doing the trade. All such activities which support the trade, buying and selling of goods. What was trade? Trade was buying and selling of goods, and those activities which provide the support to the trade, to buying and selling of goods, are known as aids to trade. So I hope the definition is clear to you. Aids to trade refers to those activities which facilitates, which help buying and selling of goods and services. So basically they provide the help, the support system for doing the trade. There are various uh, types of aids to trade also. So let us discuss it one by one. First is transportation. Students, there are total 6 aids to trade. So we will be discussing it one by one. First is transportation. Now first let us know what is the meaning of transport. Transport refers to the conveyance. Conveyance means movement. Movement of goods or passengers, you can say. Sometimes goods also, sometimes passengers also, from one place to another place. Means transport means when we transfer the goods or the passengers from one place to another place. That is the meaning of transportation. It facilitates trade. Okay, it provides help in doing the trade. How? By assembling and distributing. Assembling means bringing the goods to the required place, and distributing means converting them into finished products and then distributing it into giving to consumers. So it helps in doing the trade by bringing the goods and distributing the goods to the final consumers, and it overcomes the barrier of distance. How? Because it helps in transporting the goods to the required place where it is required. Suppose the good is produced at one place, but it needs to be transported to other place which is located at far off place. So this problem can be solved through transportation. Goods could be moved from one place to another with the help of transportation. So transportation help in overcoming the barrier of distance, and just it creates place utility. It is very important to remember that which type of utility is created by transportation. So it is the place utility which is created during the transporting of goods. So once again, transport refers to the movement of goods and passengers from one place to another. It helps in the process of trade by bringing the goods and distributing it to the final consumers, and it overcomes the barrier of distance and creates place utility. So second is warehousing. See, nowadays, see what happens, the producer produce the goods in excess, in large quantity, but it is not possible that all the goods which are produced are sold off immediately. गुड्स बहुत ज़्यादा क्वांटिटी में प्रोड्यूस करा जाता है, बट इट इज़ नॉट नेसेसरी दैट ऑल द गुड्स आर सोल्ड ऑफ इमीडिएटली. So it is very important, it is very necessary to store the goods until they are sold off. Why we need to store? Because otherwise the goods can be damaged also, it can be stolen also. So to protect the goods until they are sold off, it is very necessary to store the goods. And for storing the goods we need warehouses. Warehouses is just like a store where we can keep our goods safe and protect from damage. Warehouse removes the hindrance of time. Why hindrance of time? Because it helps in storing the goods until they are sold to consumers. हम तब तक स्टोर कर सकते हैं जब तक we are not able to sell it to the final consumers, and thus it creates the time utility. It is very important to remember that it creates which utility? Time utility. So I hope so the definition is clear to you. Warehousing means goods are produced in anticipation. Anticipation means beforehand, excess, and it is therefore necessary to store the goods until they are sold off. Warehouses removes the hindrance of time and it creates time utility. So let's proceed to the third point, that is banking. There is usually a time gap between purchase, production and sale of goods. See, when a producer is producing the goods, firstly he will purchase all the raw materials. Now for purchasing he required the funds. Then he will just convert the raw materials for the production of goods. For that purpose he also require the funds. And after production, when the goods are ready for sale, he will conduct the activity of sale, and for that purpose also funds are required. Now how he will get the funds? During the process of purchase also, production also, while at the time of sale also, because after selling of goods he will get the price after selling the goods. So till then how he will arrange for the capital? During this period businessmen needs fund to carry on their business, and who provide them funds? Banks and the other financial institutions provide the required credit. Credit means loan to the businessman. So the funds required by the businessman is provided by the banks and the other financial institutions, which help the businessman to do all such type of activities without any disruption. So banking provides a great help in doing the trade, because if banks would not be there, a businessman would not be able to arrange for their funds for conducting their business. So I hope so the point is clear to you. Let's proceed to the point number 4, that is insurance. So a business involves several type of risk, because as we know that a business risk are the part and parcel of business. So business contains various types of risk. Risk can be of spoilage also, risk of damage also, risk of changing in prices also, risk of changing in fashion also. So a business contains various types of risk. So for handling such type of risk, businessman can take the help of insurance. For removing all such type of risk, businessman can take the help of insurance. With the help of insurance he can remove all the hindrance of risk, all the problems of risk. he can protect himself. With the help of insurance, he can protect himself from the several type of risk. So insurance help in removing the risk of a businessman. So insurance plays an important role in protecting the risk of a businessman from various types of damage, spoilage, and etc. So I hope so this is clear to you. So let's proceed to the point number 5, that is advertising. Students, just to understand this point, let me first tell you that when the new products come into the market, new products, when the new products are come into the market, who informs you about such new products? How you get the knowledge of such new products? Through the help of advertising, which you see often in the newspaper, radio, television, films. So you get the knowledge of new products through advertising, or you can say publicity also. But publicity, when the goods are just advertised you while displaying such new products. So advertising and publicity informs the consumers about the availability of various products and services that are present in the market. So they remove the hindrance of knowledge. How the consumers would be able to know about the new products and services? With the help of advertising and publicity, a consumer can get the knowledge of the new products and also the uses of how to use that product. We can get the knowledge through advertising, through publicity, through the services of salesmen. So all that kinds of uh, that aids, that help in removing the hindrance of knowledge, plays an important role in informing the buyers of how to use the product and also about the new products. So hope you have got this point. Let's proceed to the point number 6, that is packaging. Now first understand what is the meaning of packaging. Packaging means designing and producing suitable packages for the different products. Goods, when the goods are produced, it can't be sold off just like this. It need to be packed so that it could be protected from damage. To protect it from damage, packaging is very much essential, so that when the goods are transported from one place to another, it cannot be damaged. So packaging plays a very important role in transporting, in distributing the goods and services. And what role a packaging plays? Packaging helps to protect the goods from damage. Just it protects the good from being damaged, and it removes the hindrance of risk by keeping the goods safe and free from the spoilage. With the help of packaging, we can keep our goods safe and protect from any kind of damage which can be done during the transportation of the goods. So packaging is also the one aids to trade, which help in transporting the goods from one place to another very safely and free from any kind of damage. So if the goods are not properly packed, they are more likely to get damaged. So if you want your product to be delivered safely to the required place, our goods need to be properly packed. So these are all the types of aids to trade. We have discussed transportation, warehousing, banking, insurance, advertising, and packaging. So now let's proceed to the next topic, that is difference between industry, commerce, and trade. We have discussed the meaning of industry, commerce, as well as trade. So we will now cover up the differences between these three. Now students, I have already told you that for while you are writing the differences, it is very important to write the bases also, because that plays an important role. So first point is meaning. What is the meaning of industry? Extraction, reproduction and processing of useful products. We have discussed that industry means the processing. The raw materials are taken and they are converted into finished products. So processing of raw materials to get them convert into finished useful products or finished products. So in the first point you can write the meaning also. Commerce, distribution. When the goods are produced, the second work is for commerce, which deals in the distributing of final products to the whom? Consumers. And third is trade. Trade means buying and selling. When the goods are distributed, the consumers come at one common place, and that common place is known as market. And in market, the traders sell the goods, while the consumers buy the goods and services. So I hope so the meaning is clear to you. Now second point of difference is capital. For industry, for setting up an industry, large capital is required. Of course, when an industry is established, just it requires large capital for the establishment of industry. For commerce, for distributing the goods, comparatively, just if we compare with the industry, less capital is required, because for distributing not very much capital is required, because you need to distribute the goods and services only. Third one is trade. Capital is required to keep the stocks, because if a trader is buying and selling the goods, so he need to keep a certain stock with himself, so that he may not suffer the shortage in certain times. So he need to keep the stocks, and for keeping the stocks he need to have what? Warehouse, which I have already told you in the previous slide. He need to have the warehouse, and for having the warehouse, certain amount of funds are required. Capital is required for for either purchasing the warehouse or just hiring the warehouse in rent. So capital is required to keep the stocks. Third point is risk. For industry, greater degree of risk is involved. Why? Because it deals in the processing, making of products, and while making the products, risk availability is there. And in commerce, just in comparatively, when we compare with the industry, less risk is there in comparison. Risk is there, but comparatively, while doing the comparison, less risk is there. And in trade also, if we do the comparison with both the industry and commerce, less risk is there. Now fourth point is nature of utility. Just industry creates form utility. How form? Because it converts the raw materials into finished products. It is changing the form of the materials, form of the raw material, just into the finished products, so that it could be used by the consumers. So it helps in creating the form utility. Hope you have got the meaning of form here. Form means changing the raw material into finished products. Now next is commerce. Commerce creates time and both place utility also. Why time? Because it helps in distributing the goods, and when the goods are distributed, it will take certain time and place, because transportation helps in transporting the goods from one place to another. And third one is trade. Trade creates possession utility. How possession? Because when the traders will get the goods, they will sell those goods to the consumers. So they need to have the possession of the goods, then only they will be able to sell such goods and services. So traders need to have the possession of the goods, then only they will be able to sell the goods and services. So it creates the possession utility. Now fifth point is ownership. The ownership of industries lies in the hands of industrialists. The person who own the industry are known as industrialists. For doing the commerce, commerce is done by merchants, and for doing the trade, traders are required. So I hope so all the points of differences are very much clear to you, because this is a very important topic and all the differences must be clear in your minds. First is meaning, capital we have discussed, risk we have discussed, nature of utility we have discussed, and the ownership. This all the three is owned by whom? By industrialists, by merchants, and by traders. So let's proceed to our last topic of chapter number 2, that is, there are certain terms which you need to know, which are present in your chapter number 2. First term is organization. Very brief meaning is required for this. No need to go in detail. First is organization. The term organization refers to the group of person. It is owned by a group of person, not one person, but a group of person who have the common objectives, who have certain common objectives. Means there are people, a group of people who are working together and who have, just I have made you underlined also, that who have some common objectives. And the members of these organizations work in cooperation. They work together. Why they work together? To achieve those common objectives which they had. So organization can be said when a group of people are working together who are having the common objectives, and they are working in cooperation to achieve, to fulfill those common objectives. So you need to just understand the meaning of this term only, no need to go in the detail. So the company refers to the association. Association means just upbringing, in bringing of many person, who come and they contribute the money also. And why they contribute money? Just to employ it for some common purpose, either for doing any type of business activity or for doing any type of just industrial activity. So they have associated, they have come up together, they have contributed the money, and then they have employed it for some common purpose. So it contains three steps. Firstly, association is there. Then after association they bring some money, and the money which they bring, the money collected, is called the capital of the company. Capital means the resources, total amount of money. Capital means the total amount of money which is being collected by all the members, that is known as capital. So after association they bring the capital, and after capital they employ it for the some purpose. That money is being utilized for doing any type of business they want. So it means association of many persons who contribute money and employ it for some common purpose, and the money which is being collected is called the capital of the company. Capital means the total money which is being collected by all the members. So the last point is firm. A firm can be a sole proprietorship also, partnership also, or a company also. So firm can be any three: sole proprietorship, partnership, or a company. Company we have discussed just now. What is sole proprietorship? When a business is owned and controlled by one person. When one person is there just for doing the business, that is known as proprietorship. For example, when a shop is opened, so that is owned by only one person. And what is partnership? When two or more persons are there, that is known as partnership. For doing any kind of business activity, if partners are there, that can be called as a partnership. So partnership, firm, or the sole proprietorship can be regarded as a firm. So I hope so all the three definitions terms are clear to you, and with this there is the end of chapter number 2. So I hope you have got all the topics of chapter number 2 which I have taught you. and whatever queries you have, please mention in the comment section, and do like and subscribe my channel. Thank you for watching.